The castle no longer looked like a home. Broken doors, split stone, burned wood, dried blood. Heavy silence. Everyone was busy. Snake people moved like shadows, lifting wood, carrying stone, rebuilding what was left of their castle. Every hand was needed. Every breath was tired. But one name was missing. Daniel. Eli noticed it first. Then came the anger. Daniel had been the one who said, "Come in." Daniel had been the door. Daniel had been the mistake. And yet, Eli knew another truth too. He was the one who had brought Nyokatu into their world. He was the one who had allowed the forbidden to sit close to his heart. Still, Daniel's absence burned. He searched everywhere. The courtyard, the shattered halls, the watchtower, the healer's chambers, nothing. Then his eyes drifted toward the basement stairs. He hesitated and walked down. The air was colder here, quiet, still, heavy. Eli's eyes adjusted slowly, and there he saw him, Daniel, not dead, not standing, not hiding, just lying there. He had pulled a small mat onto the cold stone floor, trying to make a corner of peace in the darkness. Boards were nailed over the narrow window, not to trap himself, but to block the light. His skin glistened with sweat. His breathing was slow, too slow. His face looked pale, yet burning. Eli stepped closer. "Daniel." No answer. "Daniel." His voice sharpened, fear creeping in. Daniel opened his eyes. They looked strange, sharper, deeper, as if he could see more than the room itself. "Uncle," his voice was weak. "What is wrong with you?" Eli demanded, kneeling beside him. "You're freezing, but your skin is burning. Why didn't you tell me you were unwell?" "I am well," Daniel whispered quickly. "It's just the flu. I'm getting over it." You are watching the Tales of the Savannah. Subscribe and be part of the tribe. Now let's get back to the story. "Flu?" Eli frowned. "You're shaking." "I've taken something. The healer gave me medicine. I'm on my way to recovery." Eli glanced around. "Then why are you down here? Why are the boards up?" Daniel swallowed hard. "Because it was my fault. Everyone died because of me. I am dealing with it in my own way, Uncle. Please, let me rest." His voice held pain, real guilt, real shame. Eli softened, but his spirit did not feel at ease. He touched Daniel's forehead. "Hot. Too hot." "Rest then," Eli said quietly. "But you will come up when you feel better." Daniel forced a small smile. "I will. My dear Savannians, the Damu Laivu were not gone, not yet, because something forbidden had started inside Daniel's blood. Daniel was becoming the very thing that had always fascinated him, a vampire. And to understand his transformation, we need to look at the 3 stages of turning. Daniel had just entered the first. Stage 1, the awakening, first hours to 3 days. This was where Daniel was now. The body felt feverish, cold and hot at the same time. The heart slowed, the mind grew foggy, dreams became strange, senses sharpened quietly. The person felt normal, but they were not. This was the stage of confusion. The body did not yet understand what it had become. Daniel believed it was sickness, but it was not. Something else was waking. Stage 2, the hunger phase, 3 days to 7 nights. This was when the hunger began, not for food, not for water, but for blood. The craving became unbearable. The body rebelled. The soul trembled. If the newly bitten did not feed during this stage, one of 2 things happened. They died, or they became something wild, feral, lost. This was the most dangerous phase. This was where monsters were born. Stage 3, the full transformation. This was when identity changed forever. The heart accepted the new blood. The body completed the shift. The mind became something else. Fangs strengthened, eyes sharpened, power awakened, mortality broke. This was when a creature became a true vampire. But Daniel was not just a vampire. He was something more. something the Damulaivu only dreamed of. A living fusion, snake and vampire, two bloodlines in one body, a being that was never meant to exist. And yet, here he was, breathing, changing, becoming. The Damulaivu had failed to create it, through ritual, through war, through sacrifice. But fate chose a broken young man in a quiet basement. If Daniel survived all three stages, a new power would rise. A vampire that walked with serpent blood in his veins. A prophecy reborn. A threat or a miracle. And my dear Savanians, we will walk this journey together, because the night had not yet finished its story. My dear Savanians, let's go back into the cave. Outside, you heard only screams, but inside was another world. The healer, the oracle, had begun the ritual. Candles flickered, smoke rose like snakes dancing. The fire roared in the center of the circle. He placed both hands on Vusi's chest and chanted in the old tongue, the language of gods. Then, everything shattered. Vusi screamed, not in pain, but in loss. Because in that moment, everything fell away. He was floating. There was no ground, no sky, no body. He couldn't feel his arms, his legs, not even his own breath. He felt like a feather in a giant empty sea. The world was quiet, not peaceful, just empty, like he had died. He tried to scream, but no sound came. Then a light, far away. It moved like a star, then opened like a door. Wings unfolded, massive black wings, burned at the edges, feathers that shimmered like oil. From the light stepped a figure, beautiful, terrible, glowing with old power, a fallen angel. He had no shadow, but his eyes were silver flames. His voice came not from his mouth, but from inside Vusi's mind. "There you are," the angel said, "the boy who tasted blood that was not his to taste." Vusi tried to back away, but the void held him still. "Who are you?" Vusi whispered. "What is this place?" The angel smiled. "This is not a place. This is in between death and memory, between time and truth." Suddenly, Vusi heard something else, chanting, far away, the voice of the oracle, calling his name, calling him back. "Come back, Vusi, come back. My power is fading. I need you to find me." Vusi turned toward the sound, but the angel stepped in front of him. "Focus," he said, voice low and sharp. "That old man cannot save you. He is fading. I am not." "Why am I here?" Vusi asked. "Because the blood in your body is poison. The curse is inside you now. It will eat your mind, tear your soul. No healer can fix it." "So what do I do?" The angel smiled again. 3 doors. First, death, peace, nothingness. You return to your ancestors, but you never open your eyes again. Second, return without help. You wake up, but your mind breaks. You lose yourself. You become a wild thing. Vusi shook his head. Both doors felt like loss. Third, you let me in. We merge. I take the poison from your blood. I give you strength, and in return, I live again. Vusi froze. "You live inside me?" "We live," the angel corrected. "You will be more than a boy, but never the same." "And if I say no?" The angel's wings spread wide. The void trembled. "Then you die here, right now." "I want to go back to my mother," Vusi said. "Then choose." Vusi closed his eyes and stepped through the 3rd door. The oracle suddenly saw the entity. He gasped. He dropped the chant. "Vusi, no, no," he shouted. "That's a prisoner, a thing from before the world. I must close it. I must seal him in. If he comes through, he will take everything." The oracle lifted the ancient seal from his belt, hands shaking. "I'm sorry, Vusi," he whispered. "I have to keep you there." He began the closing spell, but the wind turned black. The vortex pulsed. Vusi's body moved, eyes open, but not his eyes. The angel was with him now. He stood slowly, rushed forward. The oracle saw it coming, but too late. Crack! The stone struck the back of his head. The The oracle collapsed, the seal rolling from his fingers, and then they entered. Asa and Palesa stepped into the cave. The wind had stilled, the fire crackled. They saw Vusi standing, alive. His skin shimmered faintly, his eyes glowed. He turned toward them. They gasped, hesitated, and then Palesa ran to him. She held him tight, but it wasn't warm. It wasn't right. It felt like hugging a statue that remembered how to breathe. "You're home," she whispered. He whispered back, "It has been too long. Since Noah. Too long since I walked in flesh." Palesa pulled back. "What did you say?" He blinked. The boy was back, for now. "I'm here," he said softly. Behind them, the oracle's fingers twitched. He might wake. And if he did, he would tell them what had truly come through. Vusi turned his head slightly, and hoped he wouldn't. Because if he did, Vusi would have to silence Palesa and Asa too. And wouldn't that be a terrible shame? The forest shimmered with quiet magic. Sunlight streamed through the leaves in soft golden strands. The wind moved gently through the trees, as if whispering ancient blessings. The space had been chosen carefully, not too far from the castle, but hidden, sacred, a secret place known to a few, held in reverence by those who walked its path. Tendai stepped into the forest, his heart beating slow and steady. Sia walked beside him. "I'm glad you're here," he whispered. Sia nodded. "You're my son. Of course I'm here." But his eyes held longing, a quiet sadness. His eyes often drifted to the edges of the forest, as if hoping to catch a glimpse of Palesa. Their son was getting married today, and she was not here. He sighed. He missed her. But he was here now, with his son, and that was enough. Sia stood straighter. He brought himself fully into the moment. Zorro and Nala were there already, seated under the shade of a wide fig tree. Zorro couldn't stop glancing at his wife. She looked beautiful, peaceful, like she hadn't just turned his entire world upside down. He clenched his jaw. Sundiatu stood across from them, speaking quietly to another elder. Zorro's eyes narrowed. That man. He still wanted words with him. "Why would you help my wife without telling me?" But not today. Today wasn't about him. Today was about his grandson. His little Tendai. Now a man. Now about to be a husband. He wished grandmother had lived long enough to witness this, yet in his heart he knew her spirit was here with them. Zarya sat near the front, dressed in fine hunter robes, glowing with pride. Next to her, Layla, Malika's childhood friend. And then, Malika entered. The forest stood still. She wore a gown of white and forest green, hand-stitched with golden thread and delicate beadwork, the symbols of her house, the house of Makena, embroidered into her sleeves. Her wrists and neck were adorned with fine bone and emerald jewelry passed down from her late father's collection. She looked like royalty. She was royalty. A daughter of hunters, a bride of bloodlines. Tendai could hardly breathe. The forest had gone still. Only the wind rustled softly through the trees. Then Sundiatu stepped forward, the sacred healer, a carved staff in one hand and a clay bowl in the other. Smoke curled gently from the bowl, thick and fragrant, the scent of mfifo, wild sage, and ground rooibos bark rising into the morning air. He placed the bowl of burning herbs gently at the couple's feet. The smoke began to rise, curling around Tendai and Malika, wrapping them in a soft, sacred veil. Then Cabo stepped forward and raised his hands, his voice cut through the quiet. "We are gathered here under the trees of our ancestors, in the presence of the earth, the river, and the flame that bore our people, not to fix a mistake, but to honor a choice, a sacred choice, between a man and a woman, between a vow and a future." The wind stirred gently. Cabo stepped forward and looked at Malika, then Tendai. "Before we continue, I must honor a man who is not with us in body, but whose spirit lives among the trees today. Makena, former leader of the hunters, a warrior, a father, a leader of courage and grace. I believe he is watching now. I believe he is smiling, proud of the woman his daughter has become. A soft tear slid down Zaria's cheek. She bowed her head. Cabo turned to the smoking bowl and reached into a small clay pot. From it, he took a pinch of sacred ash, grey and fine, the remnants of burnt ancestor cloth, soaked in moon water, dried under sunlight, and stored for moments like this. He touched his thumb to Malika's forehead, pressing a short streak of ash, then to Tendai's. This ash binds you to your line and to each other. What was dust has returned. What was broken is made whole. You are no longer walking alone. He then placed both their hands together and wrapped them with a ribbon of bark, soaked in sacred oil, dusted with ash. He looked first at the sky, then at the child inside Malika's womb. Today, we give this couple and this child to the hunter goddess and to the spirit of the line. Then he turned to Tendai. Do you, Tendai, son of Sia, grandson of Zoro, take this woman to honor, protect, and cherish all the days of your life? I do, Tendai said, steady and full. Cabo turned to Malika. And do you, Malika, daughter of Makina, take this man as your husband, to walk beside, build with, and love without end? I do, she said, tears in her eyes. Then Cabo raised his hands. In the name of the ancestors and the breath of the hunter goddess, this bond is sealed not with blood, but with choice, not with fear, but with love, not for today, but for eternity. You may kiss the bride. As Tendai leaned in, a shriek echoed through the forest. No one else heard it, but Tendai did. The serpent inside him, long separated, had stirred. It had witnessed the moment. It had acknowledged the bond. It didn't interrupt. It didn't possess him, but it was still there in the forest, watching. Are you okay? Malika whispered. He smiled, slow and sad. How could I not be? This is the best day of my life. He kissed her. Everyone clapped. The child kicked once beneath Malika's gown. But as Tendai held his bride, a thought whispered through his joy. What will this child be? Hunter? Snake? Would the Guardian's magic hold for 7 generations as promised? Only time would tell. Only the birth would speak the truth. And if the curse had not lifted, if Malaika gave birth to a snake, it would be the end of them all. My dear Savanians, when the balance of the land is disturbed, it is never restored in a day. When red water flows in the river, it does not clear overnight. Even when the child is given back to the gods, nature must still find its way back, slow and wounded. And so began the season of waiting. The river still flowed, but not as it once had. The blood had faded from deep red to a rusty hue, but it was still there, threading through the waters like guilt through a troubled mind. The fish had died. The crops had withered. The people waited quietly. They waited for the rainy season to come and wash the soil clean again. They waited for new leaves to grow. They waited for the heaviness in their hearts to lift. And one day, the king emerged. Tharion stood before his people, weary but proud. His crown seemed heavier than ever before. My people, he began, his voice raw from sleepless nights. We are walking through the ashes of a fire I set. I will not hide from that truth. He spoke of the river, of the child Kalian, of the sickness in the land. He did not defend himself. He did not shift blame. Instead, he opened the royal storehouses. We will give grain to every household. We will share until the land can feed us again. I ask only this: be patient, be strong. The rain will come. The people listened. Some wept. For a moment, there was peace again. But truths have layers, and not all wounds heal with a speech. The water was still poisoned. Families now walked for days to reach the rivers of other kingdoms, just to fill their gourds. Children grew thin. The land was thirsty, and although grain came, it could not be cooked without clean water. It was relief, but not a solution. The king tried. He met with elders. He walked among the villages. He instructed healers to be dispatched. But his reach could only stretch so far. And then there was the queen, Varashka. She who once danced through the marble halls now screamed through them. She raged at the servants. She cursed the villagers from her balcony. "They took my child," she shouted. "Let them starve." She broke plates. She tore her gowns. Her grief had no quiet. Tharion, exhausted, would go to her. He would speak softly, try to calm her. But she would not be calmed, and her screams, they carried. Soon, the people began to speak of her in hushed tones. "She is not well. She has no remorse. She would see us all perish before she grieves in silence." In the hills beyond the citadel, away from the ears of kings and queens, a group began to form. They met at night, beneath trees with roots older than the crown, 15 in number, no more, no less. These were not young rebels. These were elders, farmers, warriors, advisors, people who had seen kings rise and fall, and tonight they had come to speak freely. One of the older centaurs stepped forward. "The river still flows red," he said, his voice steady. "Yes, the king gave the child back, but the land is not healed. The water is still poisoned. The fish are gone. The crops are dying." A second voice, sharper, jumped in. "He waited too long. The gods turned away from us, and we are the ones paying for it." "But he's trying now," said someone near the fire. "He gave out grain. He spoke to the people. He admitted his mistake." An older woman snorted. "Grain can't clean water, and it won't bring back the dead. My village buried 3 children last week." A younger centaur nodded slowly. "And what about the queen?" he asked. "Screaming that we should starve? Breaking things in the street? She's lost her mind." The group went quiet. "She's not the only one," someone said softly. They all knew what that meant. Tharion, the king, their king. He had been different lately, distracted, tired. Some said he talked to himself, but still, he was the king. "He led us through wars," said an older fighter. "He fought for us. We can't forget that." "No one's forgetting," came the reply. "But what happens when a king forgets his people?" Another centaur looked around. "This isn't just about grain or water. It's trust. It's the fact that when it really mattered, he chose his wife over us." A woman in the back whispered, "He broke the covenant. You all know it. He gave the child to the queen, not to the elders. That's not a small thing." A pause. The fire cracked. The wind picked up. Someone said the question out loud. "So what now? What are we saying? What do we want to do?" That's when a voice came from the shadows. "We need a new king." Heads turned. A figure stepped forward into the firelight, and they gasped. It was Varunor, the king's healer, his advisor, his right-hand man. "I've served Tharion for years," Varunor said quietly. "I've cared for him, stood by him. But I cannot keep pretending." He looked around. "The man I see now is not the king we crowned. He's tired, he's slipping, and while he slips, we suffer." The circle was quiet. A man spoke. "But you've stayed by his side all this time." Varunor nodded. "Yes, and I've seen enough. He's not cruel, but he's no longer clear, and this kingdom needs someone who is strong." He looked into the flames, and then a whisper from the side. "So who rules in his place?" Varunor didn't answer, not yet, but the silence that followed said enough. Something had begun, and there would be no turning back. The city was always loud, always moving, always breathing, but inside the little cafe on the corner of 7th and Malvern, it was quiet. Diallo sat near the window, coat folded neatly beside him. His hands were steady, but his eyes kept watching the door. He wasn't used to waiting, not anymore. Then the door opened. A gust of cold air blew in. He looked up. Kwame, tall, calm, and alert. He walked toward the table with a curious smile. I was happy to get your message, Father. Thank you for inviting me. Diallo stood. They hugged, short, stiff, but it was something. He still wasn't used to hearing Father from Kwame's mouth. They sat. Kwame leaned in. Your message sounded urgent. Diallo looked outside. It is. What's wrong? I need a favor. Kwame's eyebrows lifted. What kind of favor? There was a pause. Do you remember your old friend? Diallo said. The doctor. Kwame leaned back. What did you do? Diallo rubbed the side of his face. He did me a favor, and now he wants one in return. Kwame frowned. Okay, what does he want? He wants you to meet someone and introduce them to your queen. Kwame let out a short laugh. Is that a joke? Diallo's face didn't change. Kwame stared. You're serious? I didn't have a choice, Diallo said. He did me a clean job. He didn't want money. Just this. Kwame was quiet. You know how dangerous that man is, and you want me to take some random person to Amina. I don't like it either, Diallo said, but I told him I'd bring you to hear the favor yourself. I'll go with you. If something goes wrong, we fight together. Kwame sighed. He didn't like this. He looked at his father. Fine, let's go. The doctor's office was hidden on a quiet street, the kind of place you walk past and forget. The little doorbell rang as they stepped inside. Inside, a woman at the front desk looked up. Do you have an appointment? Yes, Diallo said, with the good doctor. She nodded, picked up the phone. They're here. After a moment, she hung up. He'll see you. They walked down a narrow hallway. The scent of metal and incense filled the air. At the end of the hall, the door opened. Gentlemen, the doctor said, smiling. Come in. He hadn't changed. Same white coat, same wolfish grin. Kwame didn't sit. Let's make this quick. Of course, the doctor said. I need a favor. Kwame crossed his arms. I heard an introduction to the Queen. The doctor nodded. Yes. Who is this person you want me to introduce? He's one of your kind. Kwame flinched. One of my kind? Yes, but different. Kwame stepped forward. I'd like to meet him first. The doctor pressed a button. A door behind the office opened. Footsteps. And then he entered. A tall man in a black tailored suit. His skin was smooth but ancient. His eyes were green, too green. Something shimmered behind them. Power, memory, hunger. He extended his hand. Kwame and Diallo both stood. My name is Daniel, he said, and I would love to meet your queen. Silence. His voice was smooth like oil. Kwame didn't shake his hand. Daniel smiled. Don't be afraid. I am quite civil these days. Kwame and Diallo had no idea that the man before them was no ordinary creature, but one of the first snake people to ever walk the earth, the son of Mambo himself. My dear Savanians, welcome to Season 6 of our Snake People vs. Hunters series. We started this season with a bang, picking up right where we left off. A season that ended with battle, loss, and a fatal punishment now begins with transformation, a wedding, and a blast from the past. I truly hope you're enjoying the journey as much as I am. Now, Papa Pele, did we receive any cool drink money? Yes, we did. We received a truly touching contribution, 2 gifts of $5, accompanied by a message that warmed our hearts. It came from At Lifting Your Veil Love, who wrote, You have made this year of healing a little easier for me. Thank you, from the depths of our hearts, for such a generous and meaningful gift. May your healing journey grow lighter and more bearable with each passing day. Please know this, the Savannah is with you in spirit. My dear Savanians, please take a moment to send some positive thoughts to our dear tribe member. We are cheering for you as you continue to fight. Cheers to you At Lifting Your Veil Love. You made this week's cool drink possible. That was truly touching, Papa Pele, and thank you, At Lifting Your Veil Love. For this beautiful and heartfelt gift, we raise the horn of the gods for you. This one is for you. And to all my dear Savannians, as we move deeper into this festive season, I want to remind you of something simple but powerful. This is a season for love, for family, and for presence. Be with the people you love. Be in the moment. Let your attention be whole, not divided. Look at people in the face, not through them. Smile, and let that smile reach your eyes, because to have a human experience is to truly be here, to be grounded, to feel, to love. Happy holidays to all who celebrate. May the joy, the warmth, and the love flow from us to you in the most beautiful way. Cheers to you, my dear Savannians. Until the next chapter. Want to support the channel and become an even bigger part of our tribe? You can join for as little as the cost of a coffee each month. Your support helps me continue creating the content you love, but of course, just having you here is already more than enough. Thank you for being part of this journey. To those of you who have already joined the tribe, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You are truly the heartbeat of this channel. And as always, thank you for watching our story, and we hope you enjoyed it. What lessons did you draw from this story? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and be part of the tribe. Thank you for watching The Tales of the Savannah. We will see you next time in the Savannah.